Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Jada Michelle. So welcome back to my channel, guys. If you are new, welcome. Be sure to subscribe. We have lots of content here centered around entrepreneurship, just branding, social media tips, and also some lifestyle. So be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you get notification whenever I upload new videos. Funny thing is, I actually filmed this video earlier this week, and I went to edit the video and I tried everything I could to save it, but unfortunately it looks like the exposure was just too high. Where I'm at in the office, I'm sitting like directly in front of a window, and in the middle of my video, and majority of it, I didn't change the settings. I don't have automatic settings on my camera. I have manual settings. I kind of adjust it to my liking. I have my picture profile, things like that. So yeah, it was just extremely overexposed. And when you're quick little rant and tidbit, but with your camera, once the exposure is too high in certain areas, your camera can't read it. There's no information, so there's no way to kind of fix it in post-production, which I tried to Google, I tried to YouTube, I tried to do all of that. But so yeah, here I am again, re-recording the video for the second time. So yeah, I pretty much just wanted to make a video, guys, about some things that I feel like people ignore or don't really talk about that much as when it comes to growing your social media. A lot of times they kind of talk about maybe things like consistency, right? Posting consistently, or like trying to beat the algorithm and posting at a certain time. But I really feel like there's a lot of house rules or foundational rules, should I say, that we need to go over first before we even worry about that, honey, because it doesn't even matter if you post at the perfect time and it reaches as a whole bunch of people, you get a lot of impressions, but if you're not getting the engagement, that's going to hurt the algorithm as well. So just want to talk about some ways that you could really grow your social media from a branding standpoint, and things that I feel like are important and I see a lot of people do that really helps them. So let's get into it. So this is something that I feel like is a problem for a lot of solo entrepreneurs, people who don't really have a team. A lot of people don't have a real like social media strategy, and that's a problem, okay? Because establishing a strategy is extremely important. You have to come up with a strategy in order to really meet your goals with your social media. So when I say a social media strategy, right, I mean like don't just post things just to post it, right? Sit down and think of a strategy for your social media. Do it month by month, bi-weekly, or week by week, whatever works for you. And it depends on the type of business that you have, right? But think about like, okay, what is my goal? Do I want more followers? Am I trying to promote a specific product or service so people can purchase it? Do I want more website traffic? Am I trying to build up my email list? Like, what is your goal? Think about that, and then strategize a plan using your content to actually do that, to do whatever it is that you're trying to achieve using social media. Because again, for business, it's a tool to use for you to be able to market and promote your product or service. So it's beneficial for you to really think about that. Think about your goals, what you're trying to achieve, and what content would make sense that would actually direct people or motivate people to take those actions, whatever it is. And it kind of runs the same way for people who just run ads. You don't want to do that blindly as well, because baby, you got to pay for those. And even if you put $5, $10 here, you need to have an effective strategy behind the content in order for it to be effective and do what you're putting it or paying for it to be out there for. I don't know what the hell I just said. You want to make sure that you have a strategy in place, so when you create content, you know the proper content to create and what it's going to do, and everything has a purpose. So if you guys want, if you're interested in learning more about a social media strategy, comment down below. I'd be more than happy to upload a video detailing it for you guys, as well as a blog post. If you don't read my blog post, be sure to do that, okay? But yeah, a social media strategy is important. The second thing that people miss the mark on is creating content that's effective. This goes hand in hand with having a strategy. So once you have your strategy in place, when you go and create content, it needs to make sense. Like, it needs to, one, kind of involve like storytelling strategy. A lot of people, when I say using storytelling or storytelling strategies in your content, a lot of people think like, okay, I need to make a character. Like, do I need to write a script? I'm not no director. Like, I'm not no Steven Spielberg. So what are you talking about? But when I say using storytelling strategies, I mean create content that's actually going to like get people interested, create content that evokes emotion or stuff that people can resonate with. And this is where having your brand foundation, understanding who your audience is and who you're targeting is important, because that's going to help you create content that gets them moving. Let's say you have a business where you sell hair care products, right? And it's geared towards women of color who have textured hair between the ages of, let's say, 21 through 30, right? You can keep it a little bit trendy, utilizing slang, things like that. But using storytelling strategies, maybe you might want to use a testimonial from an influencer talking about how they were having trouble with maintaining their natural hair, and your hair care product just essentially came and saved the day. It made their hair much more manageable. It's affordable, and it all depends, right? Depends on your brand, what your brand values are. Are you affordable? Are you high end? So that just goes, we're going down a whole another rabbit hole with understanding your brand, but creating content that actually feeds into that people can relate to, that people like. Think about it. Think about content that you specifically share or repost, right? It's because it hit different, don't it? Right? You can relate to it. You know, like, dang, this means a lot to me. You see content like that, then you start following that page because they post content like that specifically. And next thing you know, you're a fan, and then they start selling products and services, and you see yourself purchasing things from them, right? So it's the same way. You have to use that same concept when it comes to your content. Don't just post anything just to post. Now, don't get me wrong, it's best to post consistently than maybe not at all, but just think about what you're posting and make sure that it's something that makes sense. Okay, make it make sense. The next part, so this is something that I feel like a lot of people struggle with, especially when utilizing their business. If you have a separate page or profile for your business, such as if you have a Facebook business page, if you have a Instagram profile for your business, a LinkedIn for your business, whatever. I feel like people neglect it. Like, they create it, they post on there, but they neglect this important part. Okay. And this is for people who might be utilizing themselves or their personal profile as a business as well. Sometimes people neglect this part too. So you need to engage. You're using social media platforms. The idea is to be social, right? So you have to engage. And talking about beating the algorithm, right? It's important to engage with people. I'm talking about responding to comments, preferably in a timely manner. I'm talking about actually liking other people's posts or commenting on other people's posts, using all parts of the application, whether it's Instagram and posting on a story. Same thing with Facebook, since Instagram, Facebook, same thing. But utilizing all parts of the application as well. This is going to help the algorithm favor you. And then it's also, on the other hand, if people are taking the time out to comment on your stuff, especially if it's positive feedback, take the time out to respond to people. It makes them feel good. Even if you don't even know them, never met them before a day in your life. I know y'all know a lot of times the support that you get is going to be from strangers. You're going to have strangers rooting for you before your friends and family a lot of times. Don't just block it out, because that's going to help, again, the algorithm. Instagram sees this person interacts with you, guys interact with each other. they're more likely to show whatever you post to that person. And then on the other end of the spectrum, it just makes people feel good. They feel like they're getting a connection with you, and they're more inclined to support you anyway. So there you go. Some organic growth right there. Please engage and use these social media platforms. Don't neglect that. Okay, so speaking of interaction, this one is one that's like a pet peeve of mine. Please do not, especially on your Instagram, like your Instagram wall, your Facebook, whatever the case may be. And now, again, this is where knowing your brand comes into play. But majority of cases, please do not repost the same piece of content over and over and over again, asking people to buy, support, whatever the case may be. That's annoying. One. Two, people lose interest, right? So for instance, if you're a musician, I see musicians do this a lot, and all you're doing is like posting your mixtape cover 50 times every day. Yes, people may see it, right? And there might be a couple people that might be like, okay, let me check it out. But 9 times out of 10, like, you're continuing to ask people to buy, and this is kind of like merged together. 2 tips merged together. Let me say that. But you're asking people to buy, support, download, come see me at this show, buy tickets, whatever. And you're using the same piece of content. One, it's mundane, it's redundant. I mean, let me not say redundant. It's mundane. Like, it's like so repetitive, seeing the same thing. It like people become immune to it. You're not a club promoter, okay? You're an artist. You want people support genuinely. People aren't looking for something to do. You're trying to get people to purchase your art here. And that's one of the hardest things to sell. Okay. One of the hardest things to sell. So you want people to like you and support you. People buy from who they like. So people need to know you as an artist. Not saying that you have to go, all into your life and your whole life story, things like that. But you need to put out little tidbits. Let them see your personality a little bit. Or if you're more of a person who's like Bryson Tiller, kind of low key, laid back, kind of mysterious, you still can show that like he does, right? Through pictures, and not just constantly having people buy. Like, that's annoying. Imagine if you went on a date with somebody, right? For women, imagine if you went on a date with a man and he's trying to already, take it there. You'd be offended, right? And then a man, if you went on a first date with a woman and she's already asking you to pay her rent, like, you need to build a connection, build rapport with people, and stop using the same piece of content. If you're going to promote, there's nothing wrong with it, but switch it up, change it up. There's a lot of programs out there if you don't have the means to invest in a graphic designer. And there's a lot of creative ways that you can just use. You could promote the same thing. If you have an event coming up, if you have a new product that's out, you can use multiple different types of content to promote that, to put it out there. It doesn't have to be the same thing. Like, if I go on your Instagram wall and I see the same flyer 10 times, I'm exiting, okay? I already know what type of, no. You're not going to be flooding my timeline with that nonsense. No. Now, it's different if you're posting it maybe on your Instagram story as people go through, then that's different, or reposting other people. But like on your wall, it shouldn't be overwhelming information when someone goes on there, and they definitely don't want to see the same flyer 30,000 times. I don't even think club promoters do that anymore, for real, in all honesty. They even, they switch it up. You know what I'm saying? They may have a flyer and they have one event, but maybe every week there's a new type of flyer, something new appealing to the eye, like, so people know and can separate. So please don't do that. Okay, so this last one is pretty much like a no-brainer, and a lot of people know this already, but if you don't, this might be helpful for you. But please be consistent on your social media. You don't have to post every day, right? And if you're not posting like on your wall every day, at least engage every day, comment, like, interact with people on a daily basis on your social media. Not saying you have to spend all day doing it, but allocate some time. If you're not really big on social media, allocate some time, or hire someone. Okay. Allocate some time where you're just going to sit there, scroll, comment, like, engage, whatever. and then be done with it. But you need to do that. You need to be consistent, maybe even posting on your story every day, something. You need to be consistent on social media, because if you're talking about the algorithm, that's one of the things that will hurt you. And then especially if you have a page designated for a business, like a product or service, you need to post preferably every day. But who am I to judge, because my social media right now is, but we're working on it. We're working on it. I'm going to take my own advice. Okay. Guarantee that. But you need to post every day, if not every day, maybe like 3 to 4 times a week, minimum, for like your business page or whatever. That's my recommendation, and what I see works for a lot of people, because in those cases, because of the algorithm, you're shooting out content and people are more than likely to see it. But again, not the same piece of content, not the same picture, not the same flyer, whatever the case may be. Switch it up, but be consistent on these social media applications. They want to see you using them, and it's helpful, because the more and more you post, the better they can target. And again, this is where knowing your brand comes in handy, because if you have the strategy, you have the content that's on point, targeting the right people, Instagram's going to help your information get out more to the masses, right? So if you're a person, like if you were on Instagram, for instance, if you look at the little search feature, generally on there, it's going to show you a bunch of content from different profiles that has stuff that's similar to things that you tend to be interested in more, or engage with more, or search for more. So you could be on that search page for the right people, and you might come across the right person that can turn into a customer, client, whatever. So just be consistent on your social media platforms is really helpful, so you can stay out there and build your content up over time. So, but that is all I have for you guys. Be sure to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe, and follow me on social media so we can connect more. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.